Tribe, welcome back. Welcome back to Live Life Your Terms. I'm Chad, by the way, just in case you're new here. In this video, we're going to go over the truth that sets you free. And this is Neville Goddard. It's taking out of the power of the awareness. And Neville Goddard digs a little bit deeper here on imagination creates reality. But this chapter was so powerful. It's still one of these chapters that the whole chapter is just filled with nuggets that I wanted to share this chapter with you. So in this video, I'm going to read this chapter to you, and we will discuss it along the way. I apologize. I've been clicking around. This is my highlighter marks all over the place, but just ignore that and we'll kind of move on from here. But anyway, the truth that sets you free, chapter 5, I'm out of the power of awareness by Neville Goddard. The drama of life is a psychological one in which all the conditions, circumstances, and the events of your life are brought to pass by your assumptions. And what Neville Goddard is meaning here, when he talks about assumptions, it's really the law of assumption. But remember the law of assumption, it really means what you assume to be true for you, that's what's going to come into your reality. Okay, it's literally, if you don't assume it to be true for you, it's not going to come into your 3D world. Okay, that's what he means by assumptions, or what law of assumption means. It's whatever you assume to be true has to manifest in your reality. Since your life is determined by your assumptions, you are forced to recognize the fact that you are either a slave to your assumptions or their master. I love this right here, even though it's hard for me to do a straight line. but I love that. Like, listen to this. Since your life is determined by your assumptions, whatever you take as true for you, listen, you are either forced to recognize the fact that you are either a slave to your assumptions or their master. You're either guiding the ship, you're in control of your imagination, you're in control of what you assume to be true. If you're in control, you are the master. But what Neville is saying, with most of us, how we live our lives is we kind of live our life on autopilot. We let our mind think all types of stuff. Okay, we're not in control of our thoughts. Our thinking goes down a rabbit hole. We make up little scenarios in our mind that's not even true. We make up little scenes in our imagination, like having a fight with our boss at work. I know you've done, if I've done this, I know you have too. So that's what Neville means. Either you're a slave to your assumptions or you're the master. And listen, to become the master of your assumptions is the key to undreamed of freedom and happiness. Listen again, he worded it kind of weird, but to become the master of your assumptions, this is the key to your freedom and your dream life. Okay, once you master this will take you rather quickly to your dream life. You can attain this mastery by deliberate, conscious control of your imagination. You determine your assumptions in this way. And this is why I love this chapter, because Neville Goddard actually goes into, how to control your imagination. Now, he doesn't go into living in the end, because living in the end is a little bit different. And he doesn't go into kind of the bedtime routine, but he basically explains the exercise of your imagination is reality, is how to control your imagination, how to do it. Okay, this is why I love this chapter. This is what I really wanted to share with you. Now listen to this. You can attain the mastery of deliberate, conscious control of your imagination. Okay, you're deliberately doing it. You're doing it on purpose. You're in control of it. You're in control of your shit, baby. Okay, so this is how you do it from Neville Goddard's point of view. Form a mental image right here, a picture of the state desired, something you want. Maybe it's your dream house, your dream car, it's a dream career, you want to be wealthy. No matter what it is, picture that state that you desire. And I'll back up here because I've been putting in my commentary so much here. Form a mental image, a picture of the state desired of the person you want to be. Concentrate your attention upon feeling that you are already that person. Listen, this is a secret to your imagination right here. Is concentrate your attention upon the feeling that you are already that person. You already have that dream house that you want. You already have that dream car. It's not how you got it. You already have it right now. You're already that person. You're already that wealthy person. You're already that most successful version of you. And he says, first, visualize the picture in your consciousness. Then feel yourself to be in that state as though it actually formed your surrounding world. Okay, this is very important right here. Okay, once you visualize what you want, the scene in your imagination, then Neville Goddard takes it a step further. And he says, then feel yourself to be in that state as though it actually formed your surrounding world. By your imagination, that which was a mere mental image is changed into a seemingly solid reality. And I love this. This is where he goes on with a great secret. Let me take a sip of water here. My mouth is a little bit dry. This is where we get into the great secret, according to Neville Goddard. The great secret is a controlled imagination and a well-sustained attention firmly and repeatedly focused on the object to be accomplished. And later on, Neville Goddard will really call this the great secret of life. Okay. And he'll dig a little bit deeper too. Listen, I'll repeat it one more time for you because this is so important to get. And even though I've been through this book many, many times, and I'm kind of going through it again, I'm reading this before I actually did a video on it. But I mean, this just, even though it sounds cheesy and corny, I mean, I really needed to hear this myself. Listen, the great secret is a controlled imagination and a well-sustained attention, firmly and repeatedly focused on the object to be accomplished. It cannot be emphasized too much that by creating an ideal within your mental sphere, by assuming that you are already that ideal, you identify yourself with it and thereby transform yourself into its image. Listen, thinking from the ideal instead of thinking of the ideal. Now, this is a phrase right here that a lot of people kind of explain Neville Goddard. This is where you kind of get when Neville Goddard says you think from it, not to it, or you think from that ideal. Let me explain. Okay, let me repeat it one more time. Thinking from the ideal instead of thinking of the ideal. Okay, now what he's saying is most of the time when we go inside our imagination, we're kind of looking down. Isn't it weird? Like when we think back, or we have a dream, or we go into our imagination, like in the beginning, it's like we're a third person. It's like we're kind of a ghost. You know what I mean? Or we're like an angel and we're looking down like on ourselves. Like if I want my dream car and I'm in my imagination driving my dream car, I'm not actually driving my dream car because I'm looking down at it. Okay, this is what Neville Goddard is saying. Don't do that. Don't think of the ideal. Don't think of just having your dream car, thinking from the ideal. Okay, when you think from it, you're actually doing it. You're actually living the experience inside your imagination. So if you want to be wealthy, you want to be a millionaire, a lot of you kind of get flubbed up a little bit because it's like, well, I don't know what I would do if I have millions of dollars. I don't know how I would act. I don't know what I would think about. I don't know what I would do. You know what I mean? But of course you know what you would do. Okay, you design your dream life if you had $1 million right now. What type of life would you live? What type of vacations would you go on? What type of house would you have? What type of car would you drive? See, that's a millionaire lifestyle, and you have to go inside your imagination and build that lifestyle in your imagination, but you're actually doing it. You're actually living it. You're not kind of looking down at it at a third party. And this is what Neville Goddard is meaning. And then especially he means when imagination creates reality, like if we back up here, when Neville Goddard says that that when you think of being wealthy, you act wealthy. If you want your dream house, you already have your dream house. So if you already have your dream house, this is where thinking from the ideal comes from, is you already have it. How would you carry yourself? What would you be doing? Okay, you're actually living the lifestyle that you want. Okay, this is what Neville Goddard is really trying to portray here. Even though I'm trying to give you many different examples, that way you can understand it. That way, lots of times you can resonate with one type of example over another. Hey friends, just a quick little intermission here. We'll jump right back to the video. But if you're really trying to figure this stuff out, if you're really trying to live life on your terms, you really need to check out the description, because in the description is where I keep all the nuggets and all the resources. If you're new here, start right here. We got stuff like the power drops, which is totally free, by the way. We got the 30-day challenge. And of course, if you want to be part of the tribe, the link is here. And if you want to try to work with me, the link is right here as well. Like I said, my friends, if you really want to try to make this stuff happen, if you really want to live life on your terms, always keep up to date with the description, because that's where all the nuggets are. Other than that, let's get back to the video. Listen, every state is already there as a mere possibilities as long as we think of them, but as overpoweringly real when we think from them. Okay? So that's what he's saying. Like, he's kind of digging a little bit deeper on thinking from the ideal instead of thinking of the ideal. Listen, every state is already there as a mere possibility. Like, I can kind of think, oh, wouldn't it be nice to have my dream car? And I kind of think of it, but I'm not actually acting as if. I'm not actually doing it. It's kind of like, oh, that would be nice. You know what I mean? That's how I'm thinking. Oh, it would be nice to have my dream car, but that's kind of where it stops. You know, that's what Neville Goddard is saying, is every state is already there as a mere possibility, as long as we think of them, but as overpoweringly real when we think from them. Now, when he says from them, again, he's saying you actually are doing it. When you go inside your imagination, you're actually doing it. Like if you're on a cruise ship, okay, and Neville Goddard gives this example time and time again, is that when you're on a cruise ship, you're up at the deck. You can actually get your five senses involved inside your imagination. You know, you can smell the air. Okay, you can kind of, if you're by the ocean, the salt water, like you can start kind of smelling the salt. If you're by the ocean, sometimes you can smell the fish, you can smell the seagulls, depending upon where you are. The breeze is on your face, so you can feel it, okay? And even as I'm describing it, if you've experienced this in real life, you know it's true. Okay, this is what Neville Goddard is saying, that you live from it. You're actually experiencing it inside your imagination. Okay, let's move on. This was called by the ancient teachers subjection to the will of God. Now, when Neville Goddard says subjection, now subjection is kind of like old lingo. Subjection actually means the subjective mind. The subjective mind is your subconscious mind. And since he's attaching the will of God to it, your subjective mind, your subconscious mind is also nicknamed your spiritual mind. So Neville has really kind of put together, not in this chapter, but your imagination is tied to God, okay? That's the communication from God, is from your imagination. Okay, so let's move on here. So this was called by the ancient teachers subjection of the will of God, or resting in the Lord. And the only true test of resting in the Lord is that all who do rest are inevitably transformed into the image that in which they rest, thinking from the wish fulfilled. You become according to your reassigned will. And your reassigned will is your concept of yourself and all that you consent to and accept as true. Listen to this. Sometimes this is what kind of gets hard when you read Neville, because he'll put some confusing stuff in there, like in a massive paragraph. Then like right in the middle of a paragraph is a golden nugget. And this is the golden nugget here. Listen to this. You become accordingly to your reassigned will, and your reassigned will is your concept of yourself. The concept of yourself is this: how you view yourself. Okay, do you have do you have a positive self-image about yourself in all aspects of life, or do you look down on yourself? This is what he's talking about. And all that you consent to and accept as true. So now he's going back to the law of assumption. Okay, what you consent to and accept as true for you has to manifest into your world. Listen, you, assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled and continuing therein, take upon yourself the results of that state. Not assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are ever free of the results. When you understand the redemptive function of your imagination, you hold in your hands the key to the solution of all your problems. Okay, I love this. Let me change the color here. I love when Neville says this. When you understand the redemptive function of your imagination, you hold in your hands the key to the solution of all your problems. Okay, all your problems can be solved because you could easily go in your imagination and vividly live there, and it has to manifest into your reality. This is why when people teach Neville Goddard, when they get a little bit advanced, they'll kind of teach it like your world is a simulation. Your world isn't real. Okay, your world really bends as you start changing your reality within. When you start changing what you assume to be true for you, you will see in your 3D world that it will start to adapt and change to what you believe to be true for you. Every phase of your life is made by the exercise of your imagination. Determined imagination alone is the means of your progress, of the fulfilling of your dreams. It is the beginning and end of all creating. The great secret is a controlled imagination and a well-sustained attention firmly and repeatedly focused on the feeling of the wish fulfilled until it fills the mind and crowds all other ideals out of the consciousness. I'll actually highlight all this for you. Okay, so I'll reread it, and if you're following along on video, you can read this to yourself as well and read it a few times as I'm talking about it. Because this, again, is a great secret of life. It really, really is. The more I do this work, the longer I do it. And even though imagination creates reality, it seems far-fetched. You know what I mean? A lot of people call it different. I mean, every old school prosperity teacher taught the same thing, but they have their own way of explaining it. But I love this paragraph right here because it really sums up how everything works. The great secret is a controlled imagination. You're in control of it. You're controlling the ship. You're not letting your mind kind of off in la la land. You just think whatever. You go with the flow. Okay, you have imaginary arguments with your boss from work. You know what I mean? You're not in control there. It needs to be controlled. And it's controlled by controlling what you want, what you desire, what you really want to happen in your life, where you want to go. That's how you control it. And then he goes on, and a well-sustained attention firmly. What he means by this, a well-sustained attention, is that you can hold your desire, you can hold it in your imagination for long periods of time. And this is really kind of the frustration when we start doing this work, especially if we try to do this at a bedtime routine. We try to go to sleep in that state that what you'll find is when you go inside your imagination, it's really hard to hold it for even 30 seconds, let alone you try to hold it for 20 minutes. You understand what I'm saying? This is what Neville is saying, a well-sustained attention is you can hold in your imagination what you want. You can hold that state for long periods of time. Okay, that's what he's saying. Okay, so let me start over and we'll kind of move on here. The great secret is a controlled imagination and a well-sustained attention firmly and repeatedly focused on the feeling of the wish fulfilled until it fills your mind and crowds all other ideas out of consciousness. Until you really become that most successful version of you. Listen to this. Until you firmly believe that you have your dream house. Until you firmly believe that I'm living in my dream house. Until you firmly believe, without a shadow of a doubt, I have my dream car. Until you firmly believe that you're a millionaire. Okay?
Really quick here, friends. Do you want a challenge that's going to make every dream of yours come true?
You see, my friends, the issue is when you start trying to live life on your terms, you're doing everything right. See, that's the problem. That's how you feel. You're trying your hardest, but nothing is changing. Now, in the challenge, there's no fluff, there's no hype. It's just real transformation delivered daily. We are going to the core. We are going to the root cause why things are not working for you. All you got to do is go to the description, click see more. Everything will pop up and you will see the 30-day breakthrough challenge. Click the link and it will take you right over to that. The greater gifts could be given you than to be told the truth that will set you free. The truth that sets you free is that you can experience in imagination what you desire to experience in reality. I love that right here. Another truth bomb by Neville Goddard. I'll repeat it one more time. It's so important for you to understand this. I mean, for you guys that's really trying to figure this stuff out, that's why I repeat myself. I don't repeat myself because I understand this stuff. And you know what I mean? And I'm not repeating it just to be repeating it or just to make you upset. And you feel like strangling me. Chad, just move on, get to the point. I'm repeating it to you because you need to hear it. Okay, listen. The truth that sets you free is that you can experience in your imagination what you desire to experience in reality. Now with this, and I don't know the studies, I do know they've done massive studies when I used to be a professional athlete on your mind, your subconscious mind, your thinking, you're going inside your imagination, that your subconscious mind cannot dictate what you're doing in your imagination and what you're actually doing for real. Your body responds the same way. That's why I was trying to spit out of my mouth. Like if you're an Olympic athlete and they tested Olympic athletes, if you're a runner and they hook them, I don't know how they do it. They hook them up where they can measure how the body responds, and they have them go inside their imagination into a race and run in their imagination like it's real. And their body responds like it's really real. Okay, so they've done a lot of experiments about this, and they all come back stating true. Now, of course, they're not linking manifesting to everything and linking Neville Goddard, but what Neville Goddard is teaching here has actually been proved by science. And I read it one more time. The truth that sets you free is that you can experience in your imagination what you desire to experience in reality. And by maintaining this experience in your imagination, your desire will become an actuality. Okay, so what Neville Goddard means about this is what you experience in your imagination has to come into your 3D world. Bottom line, that's law. What you see, it's simple as this. If I can see it in my imagination, I can have it. And that's great news for you. It's great news for me. If you can see your dream car in your imagination, all that means is you can have it. If you can see your dream house in your imagination, all that means is you can have it. If you can go inside your imagination and see your dream life, you can have your dream life. That's all it means. If you can go inside your imagination and you're wealthy, you're rich, you're a multimillionaire, guess what? It's yours. You can be it. Listen, you are limited only by your uncontrolled imagination and lack of attention to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. When the imagination is not controlled and the attention not steadied on the feeling of the wish fulfilled, then no amount of prayer or invocation will produce the desired effect. I love this, and where I want to kind of say my 2 cents is kind of right in the middle here. Okay, because Neville Goddard brings up something very interesting here. Is I'll reread this all and I'll bring in Napoleon Hill to this talk as well. Listen to what I said. Okay, maybe you called it the first time, maybe you didn't. Listen, you are limited only by your uncontrolled imagination, means your thoughts are drifting all over the place, and lack of attention to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. When the imagination is not controlled and the attention not steadied on the feeling of the wish fulfilled, what you want, that's what Neville Goddard is saying. Listen, this is the key here. Then no amount of prayer or invocation will produce the desired effect. And this is what so many of us do. You know, we go to prayer in worry, doubt, and fear. We go to prayer in a beggar mentality. We go to prayer in this begging mentality. We go to prayer thinking we can manipulate God. God, if you only answer this prayer, I swear to you, I'll do this. You understand? And Napoleon Hill, in the book of Think and Grow Rich, he talks about this. And he gives this exact example. And I forget what chapter it's out of, but he talks about, like, the reason why prayer don't work is because what's the state you're in when you're going into prayer? You're in worry, doubt, and fear. You're in a scarcity mindset. You're in a beggar mindset. Okay? If you believe, listen to this, if you believe that source is within you, God is within you, that's bottom line. The great I am is inside you. He's not up on the clouds living with the Care Bears, how we've been taught in Sunday school when we were growing up. And a lot of churches still teach this. Now, I'm not a pastor. I'm just telling you kind of my own experiences. But God is inside you. The Holy Spirit is inside you. Okay, God dwells in you. That's the whole reason why Jesus came to earth, or one of the whole reasons why he came to earth is that Jesus and God are one. And basically to preach that you and God are one. You're not separate from God. Okay, God dwells inside you. If God dwells inside you, okay, you have dominion on this earth. Okay, you are endowed with all God's power. If God is all abundance, that means you are all abundance. Okay, so this is what Neville Goddard is saying in this long explanation I have for you, is that no amount of prayer is going to change your state if your imagination is all over the place. Okay. Then when I bring in Napoleon Hill even said, okay, if you said a prayer and that prayer came true, go back and think what state you were in when you were praying. Because more than likely you were in an abundant state. You were in, I have dominion on this earth. You were in a confident state. You were in a grateful state. You were not in a state of worry, doubt, and fear. Okay. So let's continue on here. When you can call up at your will whatsoever image you please, when the forms of imagination are as vivid to you as the forms of nature, you are the master of your fate. You must stop spending your thoughts, your time, your money. Everything in life must be an investment. But kind of wrapping this up and really going back to the truth that sets you free. The truth is, your imagination creates reality. Whatever you can see in your imagination has to come into your 3D world. But what Neville Goddard is saying in this chapter is that you have to control the ship. Either you're controlling the ship, either you are the master of your life, or you're a slave to the circumstances of your life. And the reason why you're a slave to the circumstances of your life is you're not controlling this. You're not controlling your thoughts, what you think about all day long, what you murmur and complain about all day long. And you're not controlled about what you're thinking about. Remember, we go inside our imagination just natural. And anytime we think about something, we have images in our mind. Okay, we have scenes that we play on autopilot that are negative. Okay, then we wonder why negative things come into our life. Okay, this is the ultimate truth. This is why Neville Goddard wrote this chapter. This is why Neville Goddard says, this is the truth that will set you free. This is how you bend reality. This is how you change your life. Okay, and how you change your life is no matter what's going on in your life. If you got circumstances going on right now, is you go inside your imagination and you live from it. You actually experience it. you experience what you want to happen. Okay, and we can go down a rabbit hole to this. Okay, we can sit there and talk about your dream car, your dream life. We can talk about your dream house, your dream career, being a multimillionaire entrepreneur. And we can flip it the other way as well. Okay, if you're unhealthy right now, okay, what I want you to do is you go inside your imagination and you're completely healthy. You're skipping, you're running, you're going out to eat, you're hanging with friends. There is practically no disease. Okay, in your mind, go inside your imagination, you're completely healthy. You go to bed and sleep in that state that you're completely healthy. Okay, this is the truth. But other than that, tribe, other than that, friends, YouTube fam, comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. If you have questions on this, comment below and I'll help you out as much as I can. Because I know I'm kind of reading old school, reading directly from Neville Goddard, then plus I'm trying to explain it. Then sometimes with me, once I kind of get used to reading kind of old school, old English, I start explaining it in old school, old English. I don't know why I get like that. I get kind of like trapped in my own mind. Like, how do I explain this? But anyway, comment below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video.